Sanlúcar de Barrameda is a city with an enormous cultural and historical heritage that is still preserved in its streets.
Located at the mouth of the Guadalquivir River, it has had fundamental historical importance since the times before the Roman Empire, highlighting above all the fact that it became the gateway to America during the 16th and 17th centuries.
That is why, throughout this video, we are going to show you the charms of our city.
The Barrio Alto is the oldest area of Sanlúcar. Here we find religious buildings such as churches, castle, gardens, wineries, and the town hall. Right next to this religious monument is the palace of the Duques of Medina Sidonia, where the ancient lords of the city resides. It currently houses the archive of the Casa Ducal, foundation of Medina Sidonia, one of the most important private archives in the world. Among the churches, we recommend visiting the old parish. One of the most important in Sanlúcar, La Parroquia de Nuestra Señora del Lago, is a Catholic temple. This is the main church of Sanlúcar. It is the main temple of the city, and it is also the oldest because it began to be built during the 14th century. The family of Medina Sidonia was the one that also built the Santiago Castle. It was built between the year 1477 and 1478, under the patronage of Enrique Pérez de Guzmán, second Duque of Medina Sidonia, with the main objective of protecting the city. However, the family of the Duques of Medina Sidonia was not the only one to leave its mark on the city. The Duques of Montpensier built one of the most emblematic monuments of Sanlúcar, the Palace of the Orchids, built between 1860 and 1870. It's a new mudéjar style and its fantastic botanical garden will captivate you. Finally, visit the wide variety of wineries spread through the area. They are world famous, as is the case of Bodegas Barbadillo. Of course, don't forget to try Manzanilla, a wine that is only produced here, in Sanlúcar. What are you waiting for to come to this magical area of Sanlúcar?
Welcome to the captivating slum neighborhood of Sanlúcar de Barrameda, where history meets authenticity. Let yourself be carried away by its narrow cobblestone streets, silent witnesses of centuries of history and tradition, such as the Church of Santo Domingo or the emblematic Plaza Cabildo. La Iglesia del Carmen is a Catholic temple from the 17th century in a Baroque style and was the church of the convent of the religious order of the Discal Carmelites. It is one of the last large temples to be built in a city, and inside we can find very important sculptures. Currently, during Holy Week, the image of Nuestro Padre Jesús del Consuelo leaves this parish. La Plaza Cabildo is the most famous square in our city, since it has wonderful places to try Sanlúcar's gastronomy, such as La Gitana, Casa Balbino, or La Barbiana. It is also recommended to try the artisan ice creams from Heladería Tony. The Plaza Cabildo is characterized by its fountain in the center of the square and the terraces of the bar that surround it. This library housed the old town hall of Sanlúcar. The building was built in the 18th century and is in the Baroque style. A couple of years ago, the town hall moved to the Barrio Alto, turning this building into the municipal library. El Convento de Regina is a cloistered monastery of Portland nuns. It was built in 1519 and underwent important modifications at the beginning of the 17th century by the architect Alonso de Valdevira, and under the patronage of the Duchess of Medina Sidonia, Ana de Silva. To this day, it continues to have nuns inside, and these nuns make typical suites in order to survive.
Iglesia de San Jorge, At the beginning of the 16th century, there was a very large colony of English merchants in our city. These merchants decided to build a church dedicated to the patron saint St. George. Its construction began in 1517, and it belonged to the Catholic Church of England until the 1980s, when it gave its property to the Brotherhood of Rocío de Sanlúcar. Iglesia de Santo Domingo. The church was founded in the 16th century, and therefore is one of the oldest in our city. This church convent belonged to the Dominican order and played a very important role in the passage of missionaries to America. It is the only temple built with stone blocks in our city, and its interior stands out for its great monumentality. Iglesia de San Francisco. It is a church built in the 18th century, and it is the last great temple that was built in the city. It belonged to the order of San Francisco, and the curious thing about its construction is that it was paid for with the money collected by one of the brothers of this convent. His name was Fray Pedro Buceta. He was an engineer, and he spent part of his life doing work in Mexico to raise money for the construction of this temple. In front of this church, we find the parish of San Nicolás de Bari, which is another of the many churches that we can find in our city.
The Algaida pine forest is located right next to the Salinas. It is a pine forest that belongs as a pre-park to the Doñana Natural Park. Its name seems to come from the Arabic Algaida, which means forest, located southeast of the Doñana National Park on the left bank of the Guadalquivir River. It is the most important green area in Sanlúcar de Barrameda and is a common recreational area for Sanluqueños. In the area, there are different plant species, mainly the stone pine, a wide variety of birds inhabit the environment, such as black storks, cranes, flamingos, etc.
The sea flats are located in the last stretch of the Guadalquivir River, very close to the mouth, where fresh water mixes with Atlantic salt. It's a system for extracting salt that dates back to the centuries of the first trip around the world.
They are a type of very extensive horizontal surface similar to swimming pools, but with very little depth. When the tide rises, they fill with seawater. The sun then evaporates it, leaving only the salt, which is collected and peeled off in large mountains and cleaned.
Sanlúcar has an important cultural activity as a result of its history and traditions. Among its many festivities is Holy Week or Semana Santa. Here they celebrate by processioning religious images of the Virgin Mary, Virgen Maria, and Jesus Christ, Jesucristo. There are many processions and they are grouped into brotherhoods. The people belonging to these brotherhoods participate by carrying out the penance station using the Nazarenes' costumes.
Another important event in the Sanluqueño calendar is the Manzanilla Fair, La Feria de la Manzanilla, characterized by its small booths where you can try our fantastic gastronomy while listening to and dancing the Sevillanas, a typical dance of our area. There are also fairground rides where you can ride at all hours.
On the other hand, there are horse races, which are races that take place on the beach, where numerous riders and their horses fight for victory. Bets are placed there and you can win numerous prizes.
After this, a great event with food and disco is set up in a large tent next to the finish line of the races. Sanlúcar is known for its gastronomy. The extensive gastronomic offer of Sanlúcar is based on three important pillars: products from the vegetable garden, those from its wineries, and catches from the sea.
Sanlúcar's fish and seafood, including prawns, are very famous due to their incredible flavor that they add to delicious stews, thanks to the fact that they are cooked with our local wine,
La Manzanilla. These incredible wines also serve as an accompaniment to delicious typical dishes such as fried fish, one of the best dishes in all of Sanlúcar. Within the fried fish, we find a great variety such as choco, adoba, cedillas, puntillitas, and others that are undoubtedly a success and are very good.
Throughout the city, there are numerous restaurants where they serve this typical food that its inhabitants increasingly fall in love with, and some of these restaurants are well known for their high-quality products and great flavor.
The key places to be able to taste these magnificent products are Plaza del Cabildo and Bajo de Guía.
This last place is a fishing neighborhood where the best restaurants in the city are located.
We encourage you to visit our city
and enjoy its enormous cultural, historical, and gastronomic offering.